Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. Today we're going to discuss what the Naval Training Center has become. So that original monstrosity of an in-game program that Wargaming announced, oh lord, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, that was originally going to be probably the most game-breaking thing that this game has seen in a while. And what it has evolved into now, the Research Bureau. And I've got to say, and I'm doing this just to give you guys kind of like my final thoughts on this whole situation, this whole in-game grind thing. And I gotta say, it's actually quite good. Apparently, oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 just updated on my PlayStation, for those of you that heard that update noise. So, the Naval Training Center, of course, it started off life as that program where you could regrind ship lines for a module that would improve any, I think it was tier 6 to tier 10 ship that you wanted. So you could say, I'm going to use the curve first for an example. If I want to reset one of my other tier 10 lines, you would earn the points that you earn now. I think they're like research points, whatever. I don't pay attention to what it's called. I think they're research points or victory tokens or victory points, whatever they are. And you would put those toward modules that would improve your ship, and there was 3 levels of this module for each ship class, and they were significant improvements on a tier whatever ship, especially for a tier 10. And this was going to allow you to upgrade your ship to where it had a significant advantage over a base tier 10 ship. And I do believe tier 10 was one of the most complained about tiers with this, because at tier 10, that's supposed to be it. You're supposed to get to the ship, it's completely researched, this is the pinnacle of the line. So you just spend all this time grinding to tier 10, and you may have this guy over here who's a much more hardcore player, and he has much more free time to play the game, and he has a significant advantage over someone who does not have these upgrades. And that was rightfully called out, and thank God Wargaming listened to us, all of us who quickly complained about it, and then it was pulled finally. It was a bit sketchy because apparently a lot of the community contributors actually knew of this well in advance, and you can watch the video. I forgot whose channel it's on. I think it's on iChase's channel, and they have a video of the little Q&A session they had with the CCs, and they rightfully called it out on the first spot as some BS. And I'm surprised Wargaming didn't listen to them. And then when we heard it, we had a huge uproar. I think it was probably the focal point of many YouTube channels, Wargaming YouTube channels at least, what are Warships YouTube channels, for a solid month or so. Anyway, that version of it was rightfully executed and left to die. And now we have the Research Bureau. I love how they changed the name just to say this is not that thing, this is something completely else, don't worry about it. And I remember when the Research Bureau, the revamped Naval Training Center was announced, people were still a little upset about it. And now that the Research Bureau has been out for some time, you've got the first 2 ships you can get on it, the Colbert and the Ohio. And I've got to say, from my experience with it, it's actually pretty good, I have to say. I mean, it's not like the end-all be-all. It's no big, huge, like, change to the game or anything. I mean, yes, the grind to get these ships is a bit much. The grind for the Ohio, if I want to do it all without paying anything, which again, these ships you can get completely free. I know in my Ohio video I said, well, I spent $400 on the ship. Yes, I did, but I took that option. I could have grinded out the Ohio the way they meant for you to do it, but I mean, I don't have that time on my hands. I don't have anywhere near enough time to do that. So I took the the other route, and I paid for it, which again, I don't see a problem with that, because this is 2 options to get the same thing. Anytime you have multiple options to get a ship in the game, I think that's a good choice rather than just locking a ship behind this one method or anything. And yes, it does include just outright paying for a ship rather than earning it through an event or something. I think it's good to have both options. And I mean, this is designed for people who have nothing left to do in the game, They have unlocked everything they wanted to unlock, or potentially everything in the game. They've researched everything. There's nothing left for them to do. And when looking at it in that context, it's a pretty good addition to the game, because you want people to keep playing this game for as long as you can. And I know there's, of course, the business approach for wargaming, and of course they want people to keep playing their game so they can keep making money. But for those of us that really enjoy the game, you know, people do run out of stuff to do. I mean, there's a lot to unlock in this game, don't get me wrong, but there are people who have everything unlocked, and this is for them. And again, I think it works out great. The 2 ships unlock that you can get so far, I've noticed a trend with them that I'm sure some of you have noticed too. But when they release a ship in the Research Bureau, they also add another one to the arsenal. And if you look at the Small Lynx and the Colbert, they are both the same type of ship, but with slight changes. On the Colbert and the Small Lynx, they both have 16 guns. They both reload incredibly fast. They're both incredibly fragile, except the Colbert does not have torpedoes. The Small Lynx has torpedoes, and 1 or 2 other differences with the characteristics of the ship, but they are both that same type of HE span cruiser. And then the Ohio got released, and in the arsenal, we also got the Thunderer. So you have the Ohio, a Tier 10 American battleship with 8 457mm guns. And then you've got the Thunderer, a Tier 10 Royal Navy battleship with 8 457mm guns. And it's the same type, in quotation marks, type of ship. So huge guns, small gun count. But again, when you look at the characteristics of them, they're slightly different. The Ohio's a much better brawler. She's got much better secondaries for it. The Thunderer, from what I've seen and heard and read, the guns are actually better on the Thunderer. They're more accurate, and I believe they hit harder too. So it's almost like they're giving you an option for the people who just want, you know, they're done with everything and they're ready to grind their lives away, and then they're giving an option for the rest of us through coal. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. And I know the Thunderer and the Ohio, they're kind of just like, you know, well, the Thunderer is straight up just the 457mm Conqueror. You just have to pay coal to get it now, but a couple of things are tweaked now. Well, it's the 457 Conqueror, but good from what I've seen. The Ohio is the Montana, but with 457mm guns and better secondaries. So, I mean, they're kind of just copy-paste. It's just a couple of stats ships. But Ohio's incredibly fun. I don't have Thunderer yet, so I can't speak for her. But I've heard she's much better than the 457 Conqueror. And then you've got the Small Lynx and the Colbert. Both ships which are good ships in their own right. They're annoying as crap to deal with, don't get me wrong, and I kind of die a little on the inside when I'm under their fire, but on their own merits, they are good ships. So it's not like they're just feeding us crap shits that we have to grind our lives away to get in the Research Bureau. So it works out well. And again, I've got to say, I'm glad it's become this and not that other mess that it was going to be at one point in time. But this is a much better way to deal with this in-game problem. And I mean, it's a good addition to the game. It's more stuff for you to do if you ever run out of stuff to do in the game, which now I think most of us won't run out of stuff to do in the game. I mean, I've got the amount of time I spend in this game is a lot. Obviously, I have my whole YouTube channel is based off of it, so I have to spend a lot of time in the game, but it's still not as much as some other people. And I've got every Tier 10 battleship. I've got 3 Tier 10 cruisers, but one of them a premium server. No, I'm sorry, I got 4 Tier 10 cruisers. I'm talking about Techline ships. I'm not counting the Stalingrad. That's a cruiser in quotation marks. And I've spent a lot of time on this game. I don't have I think I have. No, I don't. I may have maybe, like, lordy, a quarter of all the ships unlocked. I mean, all the Tier 10 battleships, 3 Tier 10 cruisers that I've actually, grinded for. And that's maybe a quarter of all the ships in this game. So I don't have everything, and there's some people that do have everything. So I can imagine by the time they get there, this regrind for the ships in the Research Bureau is probably nothing to them. I know there's someone in the Discord who could certainly do this grind probably in a freaking week, if not under a week. But anyway, I think it's a good addition to the game. It's worked out just fine, and I don't see any problems with it so far. As long as they keep like some type of crazy OP ship out of the Research Bureau, I think it'll be fine. And I don't think the Ohio or the Colbert or OP both have their weaknesses. I don't even see Colberts in battle much. That's another thing too. You hardly ever run across these ships. I ran across the Colbert like maybe 4 or 5 times. Not even 5. I think maybe 4 times when the day it was released, and I barely see them anymore. Same with the Ohio. Actually, not even the same with the Ohio. I'm the only freaking Ohio I've seen in games so far, and Ohio, in my opinion, is a very, very good ship. But got that to consider too. You're not gonna see these ships a whole lot. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 5,000 subscribers, and we are crushing that so far. I cannot thank you guys enough for that. So tell me what you think about the Research Bureau in the comments down below. And I hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.